Good morning, everyone. How are you guys? Today, we are going to talk about the history of advertising. Before we start, I would like to ask you one question. You don't have to answer me, just answer yourself. Do you have any memory of advertising from your childhood? I thought everyone have one at least. Okay, let's go to the topic. For this topic, I would like to talk about the period of advertising development. For the first era, I would like to talk about the pre-industrialization. It happened in the past until 1800. This industrial revolution, began around about 1750. It happened in England and spread to the US, where the War of 1812 boosts domestic production. We call this era is pre-marketing era. In this era, the advertising is not flourished before industrialization and the creation of concentrated urban market. It still exists in a variety of forms. For example, an ancient papyrus from Tibet. This is represent Egyptian advertising. For this era, London printed the first newspaper in 1622, and the first advertising appeared in 1625. For the early advertising, it tends to be the information about nature that appear at the last page of tabloid. Let's move on to the next era. It happened between 1800 to 1875. It's called the era of industrialization. From this era, the Industrial Revolution changed the American society from household self-sufficiency to a market dependency. What does mean? That means the individual could not produce their product at home. For example, farm cow for milk, chicken for egg, weave their own clothes, or grow their own vegetables. They moving to the city to employment in a factory to guarantee the steady income to buy needed goods. In 1869, there are railroads connect between West and East, and this is represent the beginning of contribution network. They moving the quality of goods from necessary to satisfy the demand of customer. That means the advertising has created and the rapid growth of the population as well as the growth of the city provide marketplace essential to advertising. Moving on to the next era, we call P.T. Barnum era. It happened between 1875 to 1980. In this era, the population doubled from 1870 through 1900, providing an expanded labor force and a new customer market. This growing class was brought by the economic windfall from the regular wages from the factory job, and there is a new model of communications technology, such as Telegraph, typewriter, Mercantile linotype, faster printing presses. This increased communication capability. And then moving on to the next era, and now gonna talk about the next topic.
Continuing with the timeline, now let's talk about the 1920s, which it was a period of economic prosperity and cultural transformation. As Canada evolved from the aftermath of World War I, a new consumer culture blossomed. And with the rise of radio and print media, advertisers look for the opportunity to captivate audiences with compelling campaigns. It started with the iconic imagery of the Eaton's catalog. Advertising became synonymous of aspiration and modernity. Then, by 1928, more than 60 radio stations were licensed to operate. Radio became an extremely successful advertising medium, and by the end of the 20s, Canadians were complaining of too much broadcast advertising. Now, let's talk about the Great Depression. In this era, advertising faced a difficult challenge. In the middle of this economic crisis, marketers had to see a delicate balance between promoting products and maintaining sensitivity to the struggles of the masses. Even with the adversity, creative resilience won, and with the innovative campaigns offering hope in the middle of despair. Then, in 1932, the federal government decided that broadcasting should not be left entirely to private enterprise and decided to create the Canadian Radio Broadcasting Commission. Then they named it the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, with the authority to own stations in major cities and a monopoly to operate radio networks. Now, following with World War II. World War II led Canada into a new era of uncertainty and sacrifice. Even though there was chaos, advertising played a crucial role in rallying support for war effort. There were propaganda posters and radio broadcasts that encouraged unity and patriotism, emphasizing the importance of solidarity in the face of adversity. After World War II, TV signals started flowing into Canada from US border cities. TV's persuasive blend of sight, sound, and motion, later color, made it a powerful advertising medium. The rise of television further revolutionized advertising, allowing brands to reach audiences on a huge scale. Now we're gonna talk about the peace, love, and creative revolution. If you wonder, it was the 1960s that truly transformed the advertising landscape, beginning in an era of social upheaval and creative revolution. Since in this era Canada was facing with issues of civil rights and cultural change, advertisers had to embrace a newfound sense of authenticity and innovation. It started with the imagery of the I Am Canadian campaign. Then, advertising became a powerful platform for social commentary and expression. In the 1970s, Canadians wanted more TV shows to watch, so big cable TV systems were built, and this gave millions of homes access to a lot of different channels. Now, Jason is gonna keep talking about the last eras that we have during this timeline.
So now, the 1970s. Let's rewind to the 1970s. From 1973 to 1980. This was a time of transition and change in the world of marketing. As the world recovered from economic instability, businesses had to rethink how they reach consumers. Traditional advertising methods like print and television ads continued to dominate, but there was also a growing emphasis on building relationships with customers. Brands started to focus more on understanding their target audience and tailoring their messages to meet their needs. It was a decade where marketing began to evolve from simply selling products to creating connections with customers. The designer era, spanning from 1980 to 1992. During this time, marketing took on a whole new look. Companies realized that in a crowded marketplace, it wasn't just about having a good product, it was about catching people's eyes. This led to a focus on design like never before. Brands invested heavily in creating iconic logos and visually striking advertisements. Think of classic campaigns like Coca-Cola's "I like to buy the world a Coke" or Levi's Laundrette. These became more than just ads. They became cultural touchstones. It was an era where aesthetics ruled and design became the cornerstone of brand identity. The E-Revolution begins. Fasten your seatbelts for the E-Revolution, which kicked off in 1992 and lasted until 2000. This period marked the dawn of the digital age in marketing. With the rise of the internet, everything changed. Suddenly, companies had a whole new playground to showcase their products and services. Email marketing became the thing, flooding our inboxes with promotion and newsletters. Banner ads popped up on websites vying for our attention, and businesses scrambled to master search engine optimization to ensure they appeared at the top of our online searches. It was a time of unprecedented innovation and experimentation as marketers raced to adapt to this brave new digital world. So, the new era, 2000 to present. Buckle up for the journey from 2000 to the present. This era has been defined by the power shift towards consumers. With the advent of social media and the ubiquity of smartphones, we have never been more connected or informed. Suddenly, it wasn't just about what companies were saying about themselves. It was about what we were saying about them. So, this forces businesses to become more transparent, authentic, and responsive to our needs. Enter branded entertainment, where brands seamlessly integrate themselves into our favorite movies, TV shows, and online content. And when the global recession hit, companies had to get even more creative, finding ways to market their products and services on shoestring budgets. It's been a roller coaster ride of customer empowerment, digital innovation, and the constant quest to stay relevant in an ever-changing landscape. So thank you all for your attention and time. It has been a pleasure sharing with you about evolution of marketing over the decades. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to let us know. Have a good day.